Have you ever had that feeling? That low-key, constant hum of anxiety in the background, even when you look around and logically everything in your life is fine? It's such a confusing and frustrating place to be. So in this explainer, we're going to get into it. We're going to figure out what's really going on. This quote from Lydia, man, it just nails it, doesn't it? Things are fine, but my body doesn't seem to believe it. That's the core of it right there. It's that feeling of being constantly braced for something bad to happen, but it never does. You're just stuck waiting. If any of this is starting to sound familiar, I really want you to hear this. You are so not alone. This is an incredibly common experience. And the very first thing to know is that the answer to that nagging question, what is wrong with me, is absolutely nothing. You're not broken. So let's start solving this mystery together. Okay, let's dive into part one and explore what I like to call the anxious paradox. That bizarre contradiction of feeling worried and on edge when, by all accounts, life is actually pretty good. So the first thing we gotta get straight is that this feeling isn't irrational. It's not a sign that you're ungrateful or that you're making things up. It's more like an emotional echo. Your nervous system is basically running an old program, a survival pattern that it learned a long time ago, during times when things really weren't safe or predictable. So, let's get into the science behind these echoes. Why does your body sometimes feel like it's completely stuck in the past, even when your logical brain knows, for a fact, that you're safe right here, right now? Okay, so meet the amygdala. You can think of it as your brain's tiny but very powerful emotional fire alarm. Its whole job is to constantly scan your environment for danger. And when it even thinks it spots a threat, it yanks that alarm, flooding your body with stress hormones to get you ready to fight, run, or freeze. And honestly, it's a brilliant system for keeping us alive. But here's the problem. If you've gone through things like significant stress over a long period, or maybe trauma in your past, it can make that fire alarm super, super sensitive. It can basically get jammed in the on position. So it just keeps blaring day in and day out, even when there's no actual fire. Your body stays on high alert, prepped for a danger that only exists as a memory. To get a better picture of this, think of your nervous system as having two main settings, right? You've got fight or flight, which is your gas pedal. It revs you up and gets you ready for action. And then you have rest and digest, and that's the brake. It's what calms you down. Well, when that fire alarm is stuck on, it's like you're living your life with your foot just slammed on the gas pedal all the time. And this leads to a state that experts call baseline dysregulation. What that means is, for a nervous system that was trained by chaos, calm doesn't register as safety. Nope. Calm can actually feel deeply suspicious, kind of like that eerie quiet before a big storm hits. So your body just stays braced and tense because it learned that peace and quiet were just the setup for the next bad thing. So what does all this biological stuff actually feel like in your day-to-day life? Well, this background hum of anxiety can show up wearing a lot of different masks. And just being able to give these feelings a name, that's a huge first step towards understanding them. First up, there's high-functioning anxiety. This one's for everybody out there who looks like they totally have it all together. You know, you're crushing it at work, you're there for your friends, you're juggling everything. But behind that successful exterior, there's just this constant internal battle with self-doubt and this nagging fear that you're gonna fail. Then you've got anticipatory anxiety. This is when your mind is constantly, and I mean constantly, playing the what-if game. It's rehearsing for future disasters that haven't happened and probably won't. Because your body remembers past danger, it tries to protect you by gaming out every single possible worst-case scenario. It's exhausting. And then, maybe the most confusing one of all is happiness anxiety. This is when something great happens. You get the job, you have a perfect date, you feel genuinely happy, and then this wave of dread washes over you. It's that classic waiting for the other shoe to drop feeling. It's rooted in this deep-seated belief that good things just don't last. Oh, and we have to talk about perfectionism because it can be a massive driver here, trapping you in this really vicious cycle. It starts when you set these impossibly high goals for yourself. Then, when you inevitably fall short because they were unrealistic to begin with, you just unleash this storm of harsh self-criticism. That, of course, just skyrockets your anxiety. And how do you try to fix it? By setting even higher goals, and the whole painful loop starts all over again. Okay, so we've identified the patterns, we've looked at the biology. Now for the good news. And this is really good news. You are not stuck with this. We're going to shift now from the why to the how. let's look at some real practical ways you can start to retrain your nervous system and actually teach your body that it's safe to relax. Now, professional therapy can be an absolute game changer here. Things like CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy help you catch and change those negative thought loops that are fueling the anxiety. More specialized therapies like EMDR can actually help your brain reprocess old memories so they just don't have that same power to trigger you anymore. And things like mindfulness-based therapies teach you how to just notice your thoughts and feelings without getting totally swept away by them.
But you don't have to wait for a therapy appointment. There's simple things you can try, like right now, to start calming that nervous system. Something as simple as box breathing. Breathing in for 4, holding for 4, out for 4, holding for 4. That sends a direct signal to your brain to chill out. Or try a grounding technique, like naming 5 things you can see, 4 you can feel, and so on. It pulls you right out of your head and into the present moment. Honestly, even doing the dishes can become a mindful practice if you just focus on the sensory details.
And think about your daily habits too, because they're constantly sending these little messages of either stress or safety to your body. Gentle movement like yoga can help release stored tension. Eating good whole foods supports your brain chemistry. And sleep is completely non-negotiable. It's when your entire system repairs itself. And maybe most important of all, spending time with people or even pets who make you feel genuinely safe and seen is one of the most powerful regulators there is. All right, finally, let's talk about the goal here. Because the goal is not to just eliminate anxiety forever. That's not really how humans work. The real goal is to fundamentally change your relationship with it. I just love this quote because it reframes the whole journey. Healing isn't about reaching some mythical, anxiety-free promised land. It's about building the ability to feel that anxiety bubble up and, instead of panicking, being able to meet it with a sense of curiosity and compassion. So, if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. Your anxiety is not a sign that you are broken. It's not your enemy. It's actually a misguided protector. It's that overeager fire alarm, still ringing about dangers from a long, long time ago. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to just kind of carry with you. What if, instead of fighting this feeling, you could try approaching it with just a little bit of compassion? What if you could start to see your anxiety as just a message from a part of you that is very, very slowly learning that it's finally safe enough to rest?